Hello everybody. So unfortunately I'm unable to be here with you in class today, but we are still going to be learning a lesson. So you're going to watch this video, and while you're watching this video, I expect you to take really good notes, listen to all the instructions, and be ready to take your quiz just like normal when I see you again tomorrow. So we are on page 27 of your packet, and we're going to be learning about translating expressions and equations. The first thing I want to do is go over some vocabulary. Some of it is new and some of it is old that will help us translate expressions and equations. The first vocabulary word I want to go over here is coefficient. We learned the other day that the coefficient of a term is the number attached to a variable. So in this problem, the coefficient in this problem would be the number 3. Now, when I was explaining that, I used the word variable as I was explaining. A variable is a letter used in an algebra problem to represent a number. So this would be a variable. Anytime we have a variable that is, a number that is not attached to a variable, we call it a constant. So in this problem, the positive 6 would be a constant, and the positive 12 would be a constant. They are not attached to variables. Now, an expression is any algebraic combination of terms and variables that does not have an equal sign. So in this problem, this side of the equal sign would count as an expression. And this side of the equal sign would count as an expression. When you incorporate an equal sign into a problem and you put something on the left, one expression on the left, and another expression on the right, this whole thing together is called an equation. But you cannot have an equation without an equal sign. The word equation actually has part of the word equals right in there. So, couple things. We've learned some of these words before. We haven't learned some of these words before. Today we're going to be working on expressions and equations. So here are some words that go with expressions. The fact that they go with expressions means that there should not be an equal sign when you translate these things. There should be no equal sign in the problem because an equal sign would make it an equation. So, the first term we're going to learn about is addition. What are some vocabulary words that will tell you that we need an addition sign? The first word that means addition is the word sum. The second word that we need to know that means addition is greater than. Those are probably the two that come up the most often. Now, the phrase greater than is actually a tricky one. When you see the words greater than, it actually means switcheroo. So let me give you an example. When I see the sum, I see the word sum, I know that that means plus sign, of 2 and a number x. Since the number 2 comes first in the problem, I just put the 2. Plus, since the letter x comes second, I put the x. But here is why I call greater than a switcheroo. When I see 7 greater than a number, that actually means switch the order in which you write things. So the y, which is at the end of the sentence, goes at the beginning of the problem. Then the plus sign, and then the 7, which is at the end of the beginning of the sentence, goes at the end of the problem. So you switch the order in which you write the two different terms. Now, subtraction. What are some words that mean subtraction? The first word that comes up a lot is the word difference. The second word, the phrase that comes up a lot is the phrase less than. So here's some example. The difference of a number n and 6. The word difference means this is a subtraction problem, so I would write n minus 6. Now, just like greater than was a switcheroo, less than is also a switcheroo. Pretty much anytime you see the word then, you need a switch. So when I see a problem that says 5 less than a number y, it actually means to switch the order in which I'm writing the phrase. So the y would go at the beginning, then the minus sign, then the 5. Multiplication. Remember, we use a dot to mean multiplication. We don't use an x anymore because a lot of our problems actually have x's in them. One word in math that means multiplication is times. Another word is the word product. And the last word is the most popular word, and it's the word of. Even though the word of is a word that we use a lot, we use it all the time, when we use it in math, it specifically means multiplication. So here are some examples. 12 times a number y. You would write 12 times y. Or you could write just 12y because if there's nothing in between, it means multiplication. When I see 1/3 of a number x, the word of means multiplication. So I would write 1/3 times x, or you could write 1/3 x with nothing in between, because we know that when there's nothing there, it actually means multiplication. Last but not least, we have division. Now I will tell you that in this class, we actually usually write division as a fraction. So here are some words that mean division. Quotient and divided by. The word quotient means make this a division problem. So the quotient of a number k and 2. Because the k is first, it goes on the top, divided by 2. A number y divided by 4. Because the y was first, it goes on the top, divided by 4. So just to paraphrase, to sum it all up, there are special words that have special meanings in math. You've probably seen a lot of these before. The only tricky ones that students usually have a lot of trouble with are the switcheroo words, words like greater than or less than, which mean you have to switch the order. Other than that, I think with practice, this becomes pretty straightforward. Let's look at some examples. It says the difference of 9 and a number n. The word difference means subtraction. So I would write 9 minus n. The quotient of a number y and 22. The word quotient means division. So I'm going to write it like a fraction, y divided by 22. The sum of 57 and a number b. The word sum means addition. So I would write 57 plus b. And 2/3 of a number x. The word of means multiplication, so I would write 2/3 times x, or just 2/3 x. Now let's make it a little bit more complicated. We're going to have a couple words here that we haven't necessarily talked about, but that do come up pretty often. It says 4 less than. I know that less than means subtraction. It also means switcheroo. So I like to draw in an arrow really quick. The quantity, the word quantity means put a parentheses around what comes next. 6 times, the word times means multiplication, a number n. So let's put it all together. 4 less than, put a minus, the 4 goes at the end. The quantity, put a parentheses around this stuff. 6 times a number n, 6 times n. 8 times, times means multiplication. The quantity, quantity means put a parentheses around what comes next. 4 plus plus, the word plus means put an addition sign, a number n. So you would write 8 times, now put a parentheses, 4 plus n. Number 7, 3 times multiplication, the sum, meaning add these things together, of 7 and a number y. So I would write 3 times the sum, 7 plus y. But here's a little catch. If I want to make sure that the 3 is multiplied by this entire sum, I need to put a parentheses around it. 12 decreased by a number x. Decreased by means minus, so 12 minus x. The difference, meaning subtraction, of 22 and the square, meaning there's an exponent, of a number m, so squared. The quotient, meaning division, of the square, meaning there's a little exponent, of w and 5. 18 less than, meaning subtraction, and that's one of my switcheroo words. So subtraction, C minus 18. 25 more than means plus, and that's one of my switcheroo words. Remember I said anything with the word then in it. So we would have m plus 25, and since it says the word twice a number n, that means times 2, so you would put a 2 here by the m. The quotient, meaning division, of 8, so 8 goes on the top, and twice, meaning 2 times the number z, so 2z goes on the bottom. Woo, you can't even see what I'm writing. There we go. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I'll give you a second to catch up on writing that. I forget sometimes that you can't see the whole paper. Let me give you a second. Again, in number 11, the less than meant switcheroo, and it was a minus. In number 12, the more than meant switcheroo. Twice means times 2. The quotient meant division. Twice means times 2. And finally, the sum, meaning plus sign, of 2, and the square, meaning a squared, of a number r. So 2 plus r squared. Now that's sort of the idea for expressions, but how about equations? Here are some words that mean equations. If the equation is supposed to have an equal sign, you're going to see the word is or is equal to in the problem. The word is always means equals. If this equation, or sometimes they're called inequalities, if instead of an equal sign it has a less than or equal to or a greater than or greater than or equal to. If it has a less than, we would say is less than. If it has a less than or equal to, we would say is less than or equal to. That means this symbol. If it has a greater than, we would say is greater than. And if it has a greater than or equal to, we would say is greater than or equal to. Now I've noticed some of my students have trouble remembering which one is the greater than and which one is the less than. If you draw an L and you just kind of take that L and tilt it sideways, that's a less than. So if it looks like an L, it's a less than. So this one would be a less than. This one is not an L. It's backwards. All right. So let's see here. First, the one thing I want you to notice is that in all of these vocabulary words, they all use the word is. Now that's super important. In our other problems, you never had the word is. because there was just an expression. It doesn't have two sides, a left side and a right side. So in problem number 1, step 1 is find the word is. Since the word is in that problem, and it doesn't have any other words that go with it, it doesn't say is less than, is greater than, or whatever, we're just going to put in equals. Now, whatever is on the left side of the word is in the sentence goes on the left side of the equal sign. Whatever's on the right side goes on the right side. So since there's just a 12, I'm going to fill that in really quick. The 12 just goes on the right side. On the left side, it says the difference, which means subtraction, of twice, which means 2 times a k and an 8. So I'm going to do 2k minus 8. Number 2, I'm going to find the word is. This time it says is less than. So the is brought friends. Is means is less than. So I'm going to draw a less than symbol. The 24 is going to go on the right side. And on the left side, it says the product, which means multiplication. So 6 times n. In number 3, it says is no less than. If you think about a less than, an equal to, and a greater than as being our 3 options. There's greater than, there's less than, and there's equal to. No less than means you're not allowed to use the less than. So if I combine the greater than and the equal to, the symbol that I want to use in this problem is a greater than or equal to. Now on the right-hand side, I'm going to put the 5. And on the left-hand side, it just says a number y. So I just put a y there. A number y is no more than. So this time, if you're thinking about a greater than or less than or equal to, it says no more thans. If I combine these two symbols, it would be less than or equal to. I'm going to drop down the 13, and again it says the number y. And that's because it says no. It says no more than. Is more than is the same thing as is greater than. I'm going to put the 33. Now I'm going to look at the other side. The difference means subtraction, so C minus 17. In number 6, it says is equal to, so I will put an equal sign. I'm going to drop down the 21. Product means multiplication, so 3x. Is means equals 11. Drop it down. The sum means plus sign. Twice means 2 times something, so 2r plus 3. Is less than means a less than symbol. Drop down the 16. Quotient means division. So n divided by 2. It's just kind of knowing what keywords to look for here. That's important. Last but not least, there are 2 tricky words we need to talk about. It's just a lot of vocab today. Is at most. When I see the word most, I think of greater than, because greater than means bigger. But is at most actually means the opposite of that. So if I say that it costs at most $20 to go to the movies, that means you're not going to pay more than $20. It's less than that. So is at most actually means less than or equal to. And is at least actually means greater than or equal to. If I say I need at least 10 more minutes, I know I'm going to take 10 minutes or longer, more than that. So if I say in number 9, the quotient of a number n and 2 is at most 16. Is at most means less than or equal to. I drop down the 16. Quotient means division, so I would do n divided by 2. The product of x and 3 is at most 21. Is at most, again, means less than or equal to. I'm going to drop down the 21. Product means multiply, so 3x. The quotient of a number p and 12 is at least. Is at least means greater than or equal to 30. Quotient means division, so p divided by 12. The sum of a number k and 10 is at least 52, means greater than or equal to. Because it said it is at least means greater than or equal to. Sum means add, so k plus 10. All right, I know that's kind of a long video. If you need to watch it again, so now that you've taken the notes, if you need to watch it again, I'm going to post it on our Google Classroom. Feel free to watch it again. Your homework tonight is in your textbook. It's on the next 2 pages of your packet. Please make sure that you get that done. I will see you guys tomorrow, and we will do our last lesson of the whole chapter tomorrow. So I'll see you then. Have a wonderful day.